Let's talk about business in the 217 as we do each and every Wednesday at about this time. Michelle Ownbey, she is the publisher of the Springfield Business Journal, and she joins us to talk about all of the things that are going on in the business community. And Michelle, obviously a lot of people wake up every morning and they have to get themselves a cup of coffee. But here soon, people are going to have a different choice for another coffee. Tell us what's going on.
Yes, this is a busy week for business openings. We've got a couple new businesses that have opened and a couple that have relocated and reopened. But the one you mentioned is a new business, Stella Coffee and Tea. They just had their soft opening this past weekend over at 1135 West Governor. Now that's kind of that little area where Shimmy Shack used to be located. There's just 3 or 4 small businesses kind of grouped together on Governor right off of MacArthur. Kind of an interesting backstory. Rich and Sarah Van Dorn just moved here in the spring from Florida. They have an adult daughter that lives here, and they had been visiting her frequently during the pandemic and ended up buying a place here so they wouldn't have to stay in a hotel. And then Rich's employer allowed him to start working remotely because of all the pandemic stuff going on. So they realized they could live anywhere, made the move to Springfield, and now they have started this business, which they describe as an old world coffee shop. Sarah says she wants it to be the kind of place where you can just come, hang out, read the newspaper, linger. They've partnered with a Springfield-based online bookseller, so they also have her inventory there if you want to peruse any of the books. But yeah, they are officially open for business as of a few days ago.
Definitely make a plan to get out there and enjoy yourself some delicious coffee or tea. And again, that's Stella Coffee and Tea opening there at West Governor. But another very, very popular, well-known restaurant. They have had their former building torn down. Wild to see that happen, but they're getting ready to open back up in a totally new location. Tell us about Casa Real.
Right. So today is actually the soft reopening for Casa Real out in Legacy Point. As you mentioned, they vacated their previous building there at the corner of Wabash and Veterans. The end of May was the final operations for them in that spot. And, of course, that building's now been demolished, and they're building back a Raising Cane's location, which I think is still on track to be open by the end of the year. But, Casa Real had originally hoped to just take a couple weeks to get into their new spot. They're in the former Quaker Steak and Lube building there in Legacy Point. But, construction always takes longer than you think, especially now with some of those supply chain issues and problems getting materials and all that. So Jose Lopez said that he appreciates everybody's patience, but he's kind of revamped the format, the menu. Got all the familiar favorites on the menu, but trying out some new things as well. So starting today, you can check out Casa Real in their new spot.
So make that happen and support that local business. Great food, obviously, and people have missed Casa Real, so looking forward to getting back out there. We talked with Lauren from Conn's Hospitality earlier this week, but they are preparing for a ribbon cutting on the 7th Street Cidery, and you've got some more details there. Tell us about it.
Right. This is a pretty cool concept. We had announced it earlier this year after, William Vans closed, and they said that they would be reopening the coffee shop at a later date over in their Vinegar Hill location. But they've been focusing on getting 7th Street Cidery up and running. This is the first of its kind in central Illinois. Of course, Obed's already known for their craft beers, and they do have some ciders as well, but they're going to expand the offerings. And, what's very cool is Court and Karen Kahn bought that Gillette Farm out in Elkhart a few years back, and they've planted an orchard. And so Karen said they hope that a couple years down the road, once they start producing fruit, they will even be able to source some of those ciders from their very own orchard. So talk about keeping it local.
That will be.
But yeah, Friday
cool.
is the grand opening for that. So I know you said you're going to be out there tonight, but you may have to go back again in a couple days.
No question about it. Conn's Hospitality does incredible things. I still need to get up to the Obed and Isaacs in Peoria, by the way. But anyways, moving on to the next update for business in the 217 with Michelle Ownbey from the Springfield Business Journal. Let's talk about FitBodies starting up a new location.
Yeah. If you need to recover from all that food and drink, all those restaurants opening, FitBodies just reopened yesterday in their new location. This is Chris and Kendra Schmulbach. They started FitBodies back in 2017 over on MacArthur, just in a small location. Outgrew that after the first year, and they had moved over to the Yard Shopping Center, and now they are in what Chris says he hopes will be their permanent home over on Constitution Drive. So he says this is a gym just geared towards ordinary people who want to get in shape, not a competitive gym or anything like that, but they do the nutrition coaching and, of course, also have different classes throughout the week. And there's a class at 9 a.m. on Saturdays free of charge that's open to the public if people just want to come in and check it out, see what it's all about.
And something else, too, before we tell people how they can get their hands on the Springfield Business Journal, tell us about the 15 Under 15.
Right. I know you have a prior commitment tonight, but we have an event going on as well. The 15 Under 15 Small Business Awards reception and ceremony is taking place tonight, and the business community is invited to join us for that. There's a cocktail reception starting at 5:30, and then the awards program starts around 6:15. And United Community Bank is the sponsor for that, so they host the event at their headquarters over there on Montvale Drive. So stop in and say hi and introduce yourself or congratulate some of these small business owners. We've got another fantastic crew again this year for the 20th year recognizing our Small Business Award winners.
Wow, that's incredible. And of course, if you need to know what's going on in the business community, to understand what drives these businesses, the passion behind it all, you can get your hands on the Springfield Business Journal, publisher Michelle Ownbey. How can people make that happen?
Well, if you go to springfieldbusinessjournal.com, you can sign up for BizBites. That's our weekly newsletter that comes out every Wednesday afternoon, and that is free of charge. Or, of course, if you want to get signed up for the print edition, you can make sure you get that delivered directly to your home or office.
So make it happen. Michelle Ownbey, thanks again so much. We'll talk again next week, all right?
All right. Thanks, Greg.
It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop.